welcome back to Global Environment. We're still talking about alternative energies, and we're going to talk about some specific types of alternative energies in this section. Okay. Now, let's talk first about geothermal. What are some of the benefits? Some of the benefits are it's very low in air pollution. It's also fairly cheap, especially when you're in an area that has very good resources for it. But it has some disadvantages. Often there's very large environmental disturbance. You look at some of the areas that there might be good geothermal resources. You even have to build roads to those areas. It's not possible everywhere. You need an area often with very high temperatures, like a place like Iceland that we'll talk about. And there's also environmental justice issues. A lot of the places where you can use geothermal are in culturally sensitive areas. Okay, so here's a shot that shows geothermal in action. Again, it plays into Carnot efficiencies, the difference between your heat source and sink. Where is it really used? I mentioned Iceland. Some of the major cities in Iceland use quite a bit of geothermal. They use it for lighting, for heating their streets, all kinds of things. So very good use. They have power plants, and they're getting about 17% of their country's electricity from geothermal. And 87% of the heating, water, and air heating is due to geothermal. But again, they're right on a rift area. It's very rich in those resources. Now, how about solar cells, active solar power? We can look at PV cells, we can look at power towers, and also ocean thermal conversion, where ocean water is heated and there's differences between the surface temperatures and the bottom temperatures, and that can be exploited. What are some of the benefits of PV cells, which directly produce electricity? Again, low air pollution, low maintenance costs, there's no moving parts when you're talking about PV cells, and a flexible scale range. You can put this on your shed in your backyard, or you can cover a desert, and that's very different than, say, nuclear energy, where it's not as scalable. Disadvantages. A lot of people don't understand that PV cells are made out of toxic materials. And again, you think about disposal at the end, what happens? Not possible everywhere because there's differences in sunlight. And it's currently expensive, though those costs are going down. All right, so solar power, it's always been used. Even the Romans used solar energy quite a bit. And you can see passive solar collection here. By arranging your roof and shading, you can get heat during the winter. You can get it to enter your house, but not in the summer when you want cooling. You can also use landscaping. In the summer when you want cooling, you have shade. In the winter when these leaves fall off, you get cooling. Really interesting way, creative way of harnessing the sun's energy. Now, this is the power tower that I talked about to you earlier. Up here, again, we have a situation where we have a water tank. It's black. It's picking up the sun's rays, and that is turned to steam and used to power a turbine. And most of the light and heat from this comes from a series of mirrors that are focused on this spot. So we can take advantage of a lot of extra energy. And these mirrors are programmed to follow the sun and to focus that energy right on this spot. So this is a power tower. This is another way to capture energy for a house, for example. You can use these dark solar collectors here and capture the sun's energy. And this can be used to heat water. Here's your water heater here. It can also be used to heat air. So again, also flexible scale in this case. There are also PV cells that we mentioned earlier. These are used to directly create electricity from the sun. And there's also hybrids of these systems that utilize fossil fuel energy. So again, the sun's not always out. You're going to have areas, times when there's clouds, when it's night. What can you offset that drop in energy? How can you do it? Well, what if you combine the system using natural gas? So at periods of low solar intensity, you ramp up natural gas use. And again, the system is the same. You're using a generator, you're producing electricity, but you're getting, your amps stay the same during the whole process. This slide shows you the solar resources that we find in the U.S. And again, there's some areas that are a lot higher than other areas. I'm talking from Syracuse, New York. It's one of the lower areas, but solar energy still works here. It's still profitable because of improving technology. Okay, this is worldwide, a little hard to make out. But again, there are areas, for example, in the Sahara Desert that have low population, low biodiversity, that we might be able to exploit when it comes to solar energy. Also in the United States, areas in the Southwest that could be utilized. And this slide basically shows that there have been great improvements in solar technology over time. The price has really dropped over the last few years, and we could expect that to maybe continue if the price of materials associated with it, like silicon, remain cheap. And that hasn't happened, and one of the reasons for that is fossil fuel prices going up, and it's hard to get the energy needed to process these things. Okay, so that's where I want to stop, and next time we come back, we're going to look at a few more examples of alternative energies and talk about their benefits and their disadvantages. And I'll see you next time.